Today we are having a precursor on our webinar coming on 21st and 22nd, marriage webinar, everything about marriage. Marriage is successful, marriage will break, divorce, and sir will tell us more about it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll just get into the screen mode. Just a prayer. Hari Om Ganana Tva Ganapatikum Havamahe Kavipkavinamavasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashanvantodipisi Sadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebir Vajirivati Dinamavatrayavadu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswati Namaha Sri Gurupyo Namaha Hari Om Parbas Tatsavitarvari number Godevasa Devi Dira Pachodityai Somai Mangalai Budasha Guru Shukra Sanibhistara Kedvinam. Hi everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Okay, I will discuss 5 charts. Before that, I'll just tell you what we are going to see this class. So the class will discuss all about marriage. So I have separated the things as love marriage, mixed marriages like intercaste marriage, interreligious marriage, second marriage, then more than second marriage, multiple marriages, then premarital and extramarital marriages, divorces, widows, no marriage, some people unmarried, then the sannyasi horoscope. What is the difference between people who don't get married and people who are a sannyasi? Then undue delay, 30 plus, 40 plus, what is the combination? Then bad marriage, trouble marriage, strange marriage. Certain cases I didn't know what to put it. Unconsummated marriage for 30 years. So all the life the husband wife is sick. So I don't know how to fit it in. Then all kind of messed up marriages. I just put it up under each heading: strange marriage, blemished marriage. There are some marriage like it's unconsummated, married but no married life marriages. So this kind of various whatever I can put. Actually, this was my favorite topic. See, marriage is the most easiest thing in astrology. Because it's just, there's not much of a house. It's like a profession and health. For health, you will have to take the 12 houses. But for profession, again, the 12 houses, bhavas, it has to be taken. But when it comes to marriage, it is the 7th bhava, Shukra, basically, just mainly. For females, it is Mars. You can also take Jupiter also. Though other aspects, planets will play an important role, but it's not complicated. There are other Gemini rules. You can take it for a different dimension or for a different perspective. Otherwise, mostly just understanding 7th house and Venus itself, you will understand very much of married life. So this timing of marriage, I have some 7, 8 horoscope, how to time marriage, remedial measures. Then we have, though this will come more detailed in my marriage matching, Pabasamyam, but this is very, very important. Little bit I will take on what I say, how marriage, married life depends on when you get married, what is it, and the matching and the muhurta also can have so an introduction to it. The whole detailed of it will be in the next course. Next week we'll be having on marriage matching. So we'll be the concepts of marriage we'll be seeing is planets and marriage, bhavas and marriage, Guja dosha. We'll see in Guja dosha what is Guja dosha, what is Sarpa dosha, what is Shukra dosha, what is Punarpu, Kalatra dosha. Some noise I'm hearing. Could somebody mute it, please? Kalatra dosha, Mangalya dosha, Dharakaraga and marriage, Upapada and marriage, Aruda Lagna and marriage, Dharapada Lagna, or D7 and marriage, Siddhi and marriage, Navams and marriage. Like I said, Muhurta and marriage, and the importance of marriage we'll be touching lightly. We'll be seeing the last two in detail in marriage matching. Okay, and then we this will go in detail. It comes a part of this. Just for the discussion, I picked it up. How a certain combination can be very important for marriage. According to Nadi text, sun and marriage can cause widowhood. So each planet with Mars can have a lot of meanings. Mars Rahu, Mars Ketu, Mars Venus, Mars Saturn, all can be very, very, very important for the quality of marriage. Again, Venus Saturn Venus Moon. Venus Moon is very misunderstood. Many people think Venus Moon is a very good combination. Certain condition, yes, it's very sensual, gives a very close or very good conjugal life. But surprisingly, in most of unmarried charts, now I've got an example chart. Venus Moon leads to bad marriage or no marriage at all. Venus Ketu, we know. Venus Rahu, we know. Again, another very important combination is Moon Jupiter combination. Misunderstood and not much known combination after Moon Venus is Moon Jupiter. Jupiter connected that. I have an example horoscope also. I'm just going to take some rare cases, not the usual stuffs. Whenever you see, we all know Shukra and the 6, 8, 12, Shukra Nicha, Shukra with malefic, 7th, 8th malefics, 7th Lord and 6, 8, 12 will be bad marriage. This is a typical rule, 60-70%, everything will follow. But there are other rules which will not fall into this, like a Moon Jupiter combination or a Venus Moon combination is enough to be bad for married life. It is, yes, the most important thing, Mars with planets, Venus with planets. It's not just Venus and Mars. I have seen Moon also to be a very important combination for married life. Like we know, Punarpu is Moon Saturn. Moon Saturn, it delays marriage, or a person is fixed, and the first marriage is cancelled, and then it's like an engagement is made and it's can sometimes the first marriage breaks. Second, depends on the affliction. There was a client, I was asking him, did your first, I was asking him whether the engagement failed and he got married. No, he said, no, my first marriage broke and second marriage survived. So that's how it's Punarpu. Only the second time it will work. So if Saturn, Moon can create a second time marriage, means you must understand the combination of Moon's position is as equal as enough, because Moon is a mental state of mind. For marriage, Moon is very, very important. So Moon with planets will mean, and Jupiter is the stability of married life, dharma and married life. So it's very, very important for a marriage to be stable. Venus, Jupiter, apart from the other planets, must be strong if a marriage has to last. So we'll go. I'm just giving an introduction. I'm not going to give you all the rules. I'm just giving you the most important aspects for what is for married life is very, very necessary. So we'll just see some case histories just to understand. Okay, this is a very easy horoscope. We'll start with something very, very easy. So this is a case, wife abandoned him. He was having too excessive physical needs. His wife could not cope up with it. So she's left him up. So very easily you can see the horoscope. An exalted Mars with Rahu in the 8th house shows excessive physical needs. And it is not met because another very, very important, most of the horoscope, when Sun and Venus are together, there is always a problem of not having a satisfaction. It is Shukra nature itself is bad for married life, and Sun and Venus in any house can be very bad for married life. This is usually all horoscope. Mars nature in a female's horoscope, Shukra nature in a female's horoscope, Venus, Sun in all horoscope can be very difficult for marriage. Whenever you see two malefics in the 7th and 8th house, you can be very sure 80% married life will be bad. But again, it's not always. If in case if there is a Papasamyam, if both have the same affliction, I have seen some horoscope where when you have two malefics in the 7th or 8th, married life is good. I've seen Mars Rahu in the 7th, like this horoscope, it broke. But there I've seen many horoscopes, 7th house Mars Rahu, 8th house Mars still survived. That is without looking at the horoscope, we can never jump into a conclusion. So it's very, very important. The matching is very important. I have the other girl's horoscope. I'll show you in the main class why it never matched. Here it's very easy horoscope. 7th Lord in the 6th house, 7th house Moon. It's a dual sign, 8th house afflicted. Shukra is nature with Sun having Mars and Saturn and trine. Everything fits right. You're not going to any of the Upapada Lagna or the A7 or AL. Just the basic horoscope is quite afflicted. Okay, any doubts on this?
So in this, was it just excessive physical or was it unnatural physical?
No, excessive physical need. This guy, I know him personally, or he just came, she said, wife, she was not very keen about it. She was a very average needs her. He was a very physically well-built, muscular person. Mars exalted, you'll always see the guy having very, very good, testosterone is very high, physically muscular built, gym going guy, and his needs are very high. Naturally, I've seen for a female Shukra, especially Simha Lagna, 8th house Shukra, having a lot of physical needs. For a male, I've seen Mars in the 8th house will give a lot of physical needs. Okay. Any doubt? I've
Got it.
taken this as a very simple, easy rule. I think this is, you can see this format in 7th Lord in 6, 8, 12, Shukra week, 7th house, 2 malefics, 2nd house, 2 malefics, 8th house, 2 malefics. You will see in 80% of the horoscope, you can be so sure married life will break unless, what is it, if the horoscope is matched. Sometimes even in the class, I will show you where it looked bad and the married life was nice. So that is also very, we should not get carried away. Always Mars Rahu will be bad. If the boy, if the other person also has Mars Rahu in the 7th, 8th house, it will be balanced. That will be part of synastry. When you match the horoscope, it will matter most. But this is quite easy. I think this is afflicted in all other ways. Shukra is gone, 7th Lord is gone. Shukra with Saturn, with Mars Rahu and Saturn and Trine, no way the horoscope is good in any other way.
Sir,
Neither the, yes, sir.
Sir, in the Navamsha,
Yeah.
7th Lord Mercury goes to the 12th house.
Yes, again,
But
versa.
Lagna Lord comes in 7th house.
So the second, see, when we're coming to second marriage, so many people say the second marriage is the 9th house and 2nd house. But I will tell you there is what the Navamsa, if it is nice, second marriage will survive. The first marriage is very much the D1 chart. But if the Navamsa, the D1 is very bad, if the Navamsa is good, the second marriage will survive. It is not the 2nd house or the 9th house or the 11th house or second marriage. Navamsa is, if it is not that very afflicted, the second marriage will survive. But even if the Navamsa is bad, let the 2nd house or the 9th house or the 11th house be, if the Navamsa is equally afflicted, no marriage will survive. You need not see the 2nd house, 9th house, 11th house, or second marriage, third marriage, or fourth marriage. Navamsa, there must be a compensation. Shukra, 7th Lord, the 7th, D1 7th Lord, and D1 7th house must be well placed in Navamsa. Okay.
Sir, here the if we bring Jupiter, which is the 7th Lord in D1, back to Navamsha, it's okay, right? Not
That's what I'm saying. The second marriage will survive. See, the first, the D1 shows the, what is it? See, if it is only 7th Lord and the 6th in D1, it is bad married life. Married life survives. If in case it was only the 7th Lord and the 6th house, but that is not the only case. You have the 8th house also afflicted. You also Shukra also afflicted. Okay, and it's very, very important in Navamsa, the D1 Lagna Lord must not be afflicted Navamsa. I will tell you there are a lot of rules I see. The Navamsa Lagna Lord must not be afflicted. The D1 Lagna Lord must not be afflicted. The D1 7th Lord must not be afflicted. Venus, Mars, and then you check up the 7th Lord in Navamsa also. There is a way of how we analyze the Navamsa chart. Okay, this is an easy chart. Okay, let's go to what is a different pattern. This is usual pattern. See this horoscope, I just took it. So what is it? This is a little more advanced case. When you see, you will be surprised to see first marriage broke, second marriage survived. In this case, you tell me, what is the problem? Why? What happened? It's a typical case where I've seen in my experience, Venus, Moon in the 7th house. In fact, I've seen many, especially Libra ascendant with Moon, Jupiter, the 7th house. I have at least 10 horoscopes with me. The first marriage broke, the second marriage survived. And even the second marriage was not very good. It survived, but the husband was not up to the mark, as he is not doing professionally well, or he was sick, or there's other problem, but marriage survived. So this is one very, very important combination, not much discussed, ruled out about Moon, Jupiter connection to the 7th house. Either it is the 7th Lord, Moon is the 7th Lord, Jupiter is the 7th Lord, and there is a 7th house connection. Here, this is a direct connection. Here, okay, Jupiter is the 6th Lord. But Mars is well placed, Venus is well placed, not much of an affliction. So the first marriage breaks. Navamsa, don't go into the Navamsa too much, because it could mean if Navamsa is nice, the second marriage survives. That's all. But here, anyway, the Navamsa, you can see Mars, 7th Lord, Mars is in the 8th house, Shukra with Rahu. There is an exalted sun in the 7th house, or it is all there. There's one more rule. I'll come back to it for you all to understand. One more particular rule I'm not discussing. I'll discuss in the fourth chart. Okay. Any doubts on this chart?
The
Yeah.
male chart,
Yeah.
this Jupiter moon in 7th or in 1-7 axis.
Yeah.
In male charts, I've seen successful marriages, but generally the wife is elder to the guy. So it just may be a small sample size, but I've
See,
seen
if you want to be elder, Saturn will be in the 7th from the moon, from the Lagna or from the Ardha Lagna. If Saturn makes an association, is one clear cut, you can be very, very sure the couple will be elderly. In some cases, in certain houses, I've seen Saturn in the 7th giving a younger couple. We just pick the opposite in certain houses. But mostly, you want to see an elderly couple, you can be very, very sure when there is Saturn in the 7th house. You can have a whole discussion on which planet is in the 7th house. What is the meaning? Moon in the 7th house, what I say, you'll have problems with mother or mother-in-law. Will be the Kedu, you'll know it'll abandon, detach, there's no connection to marriage. Rahu, you can be distracted in marriage, you can be there. Mercury, there's too much of fun, or the relationship becomes very immature. It can be the Sun, it can too much of ego clashes can be there. Mars is the worst combination in the 7th or 8th. What I say, can be very bad for marriage unless there is Jupiter in the 2nd, 4th, 5th, or Jupiter aspects Mars, or Mars 7th, 8th. Mars is the worst married life. Jupiter is okay. Jupiter is not a problem. Shukra, again, see, Shukra, the 7th house, what is the problem is? 7th Lord is already for marriage. Shukra in the 7th house is already, it is Karaka Bhavana. But one more affliction to it will destroy the 7th and the Shukra. So let's say there is Kedu in the 5th from Shukra. So it is Kedu in the 5th from Shukra and the 7th house. So one more affliction is enough to destroy it. If Shukra is little or not in the 7th house, it is a different thing. So Shukra in the 7th house, if it is not no more affliction, no more malefic association, marriage will survive, not a problem. But if there is one more affliction, a bad argala, a bad aspect, or another malefic in the 5th house, can be very, very bad. That's the meaning of Shukra in the 7th house. Okay.
Sir, here Jupiter and Moon is bad because Jupiter is the 6th and the 3rd Lord.
Yes.
That is why it's worse.
No, that is one case, but it did not break the marriage. What I say, I can show you horoscope with Tula Lagna with Mars in the 7th house, marriage day still lasts. Even Sun, even Kedu in the 7th will last. But why Jupiter will not break a marriage? If Jupiter was alone in the, I know horoscope with Jupiter in the 6th Lord and the 7th will not break marriage. But Jupiter with Moon is the problem. This is because you know the story of Moon ran away with Jupiter's wife. So this problem will always get activated when Jupiter, Moon are connected to the 7th house. Elsewhere, it is a different thing. It will not be a problem. But whenever it comes somewhere connected to the even Jupiter's house, Moon is there, or Moon's house, Jupiter is sitting in the 7th, or Jupiter in the 7th with Moon's aspect, or Moon in the 7th with Jupiter's aspect. This can happen. I have a number of horoscopes. Okay. Okay, one more tough one. The first one is very easy. I'm just going for some more different patterns where you will not be able to find out why it broke. See this particular combination. This lady is not married. There's one more combination which I'll explain to you, which why tell me why. Okay, Mars is in the 8th house. Yes. What are the other reasons why she's not married? She has a very weak Jupiter. Yes. Okay. What else can you tell me? Always when you look at a horoscope with Venus Moon combination, I've seen many sannyasis having this combination, but it's not like Venus Moon always is bad for married life. In certain horoscopes,
hers is in the 5th house.
5th house as one reason. That's another reason, but that's not the 5th house. I've seen in other. I'll show you in the main class at least 3-4 horoscopes with Venus Moon combination with bad married life. But I have seen some other horoscopes where it has not broken, but later it goes on to be a problem. The person is over sensual, too premarital extramarital affairs, and later the wife starts hating him. Later, I've seen. Here, there is one more important rule. You'll have to tell me what is the rule. Apart from Venus, yes, one is the Venus moon, Mars in the 8th house, 7th and 8th can be very, very bad. There's one more particular rule.
Because Sun, I mean,
Saturn aspect on
12th
Venus
to
and Moon.
Venus,
Huh?
12th to Venus, we have two malefics.
Yes, yes. One more particular rule you'll have to understand. The 12th
4th
from
to
Lagna
Venus.
or Shukra or Moon is very, very important for married life. You have the 12th from Moon and Shukra has Sun, Ketu, and the 8th Lord. So when the 12th from the Lagna, or you'll see in most sannyasis horoscope or unmarried child, the 12th house being very, very important. Yes, 7th matters most, but the 8th is very, very important. I have Kane horoscope, Rao's horoscopes to tell you why he's not married. So even this previous horoscope, look at it from 12th from Venus and Mars. Look at the 7th house, 12th house, and then judge the horoscope. Which is very, very important. The 12th from Lagna and Shukra, what do you say about married life? Many people misunderstand. They don't understand enough of how important is the 7th house for married life. See, 7th house is your how you get along with a person. See, Lagna is your ego. 7th house is where you let go your ego. You blend with somebody. You become very together. There's a congenial atmosphere. So, that's the state of the togetherness. Is the 7th house. 5th house is the house of romance. Why 5th house, the house of romance? It is the 11th house of the 7th house, and the 7th house is the 3rd house of the 5th house. So there's a very interlinked connection between the 7th and the 5th. Or 8th house is your physical intimacy, the actual physical act. The mental physical act is the 7th house, the actual physical act is the 8th house. 10th house from the 8th house is the 5th house. So 5th house is a sense of romance is there. 12th house is the 8th from the 5th house. Let's say you have two malefics in the 12th house. It dampens or it kills the romantic feeling. It is totally cut off. It's not like only that. It's not the 5th house. 4th house is for your sukha, your happy, your peace. What is the higher octave of the 4th house? 12th house is the 9th house from the 4th house. So let's say two malefics are you don't have any peace. So the highest peace, prashanti, is the 12th house. So liberation, being in an ashram, being in a temple, meditation, the highest space is also the 12th house. But the normal happiness is also the 4th house. And what I say, you are sleeping and resting and relaxing is the 12th house. And the pleasures of the bed and the person you are sleeping with is also the 12th house. 8 hours, your bed. Some minimum, I think minimum people sleep 8 hours. You're in the bed. And the bed whom you share with, if it has malefics, it is like you can never share it with anybody else. So 12th house becomes very, very important for marriage. There are other houses we'll discuss. It's not, I'm just giving you one more important view to it. How important is the 12th from Lagna, the 12th from Venus, 12th from Moon also. The mentality, the emotional connection is the 12th from the Moon. The sensual connection is the 12th from Venus. The physical connection is the 12th from Lagna. It is all very, very important to be seen. Sometimes the 7th house may not be the reason. Okay, so there are more. I told you the first easy rule is 7th Lord in 6, 8, 12 with Nietzsche, with malefics. 7th house has two malefics, 8th house has two malefics. Shukra afflicted, Mars afflicted is the usual case, 70-80%. Most of it will fit in. People who are not 30 plus and not married, you just look at the horoscope. 7th, 8th is afflicted. Shukra is weak. Or Mars is weak for a female. For a male, it is Shukra, which is weak, you'll see. But there are horoscopes which you'll see, it looks like a good horoscope, like this horoscope. Venus, Moon, Venus is well placed, Mars is well placed, Moon, Jupiter, two benefics in the 7th house. Why is this person not married? Then if you look deeply, then you'll understand the 12th will be afflicted. Okay. And there's something little more on if you want to understand about 12. If you understood the 12th house, the manifestation of the 12th house is the Upapada Lagna. So where the 12th house factor is going to be manifested, you will have to look at the Upapada Lagna. So here the horoscope Upapada Lagna falls in the 8th house. Okay, we'll go more about Upapada Lagna. I will just stop with what I say, the 12th house and marriage. Okay, this we finished. Okay, this is K and Rao's horoscope. Now I've finished telling you the rule. Now you tell me why what I say K and Rahu is not married. He has a good, see, he also has a Moon Venus combination. His seventh lord is not afflicted. In fact, his seventh lord, Moon, Venus are conjoined together. Venus is also very, why is he not married? If you only apply two rules, you will understand the same rule which I told in the previous horoscope. You apply it in this horoscope, you will know why is he not married. Yes, Navamsa, we
Sir,
can go on research, but that is later. It should be evident in the Rasi chart. Yeah, tell me, Riba.
Sun Ketu, 12th from Venus, and I heard
Yes,
somewhere that
from
he's born in Pratipada. So that
yeah,
is also a reason.
sun. It is also sun. Sun will be
Yeah.
the thing. Okay, there are two rules to it. Okay, one is the 12th house is afflicted. It's not the 12th house. The Upapada Lagna falls in the 9th house. So, you know, Upapada Lagna, the 9th house is very connected or is married to God. Now, who's the 12th lord? It is Mercury. Who's the Upapada Lagna? The manifest 12th house also Mercury. It is in the 12th house with Sun and Ketu. So the 12th from Lagna, from Chandra, from Mars, from Shukra, if all it is and aspected by Saturn. If you just take the Upapada Lagna, you know how many planets are Rasi aspects, Upapada Lagna is aspected by Saturn, Rahu, Sun, Ketu, all aspect Upapada Lagna. Almost all malefic connection is there for Upapada. If you wanted to see is Upapada Lagna is afflicted, or if you take his 12th house is afflicted, but it just doesn't stop with it. It is also a reason. It's very, very common for you to see a Moon Venus combination and a person being unmarried. This is the second horoscope. At least that's my personal connection. This everybody knows K and horoscope, and he has people assume Moon Venus, it should be very sensual. He must have a lot of affairs. No, he's not even married. He has a Venus Mars combination and Venus Moon combination, and there is not a single connection. He's extremely very spiritual person. Yes, it's Navamsa, Shukra goes to the 8th house, Rahu, Moon in the 7th house. There are other combinations, but most important, if you keep in mind how important is the 12th house. And if you want to understand the next level of understanding the 12th house is the Upapada. If you understand, you will understand very clearly the importance of 12th house in marriage. A7, you can see for your physical relationships, all the, what I say, A7 will be very, very important. I will tell you about how to see from Aruda Lagna also. There are some rules how to apply A7, how important is Dharaka in marriage. You can also, Tidhi I didn't introduce, how important is Tidhi in marriage also. Okay, any doubts on this? Okay, okay, this horoscope, I'm not going to tell you all. Tell me how is the married life of this person. I don't know whether I should answer you all, I should not answer. I'll give you all, you all analyze and tell me. Tell me, Rima, tell me.
So it doesn't seem fine. Venus, Saturn, then even in
Seventh, seventh
seventh
Lord
Lord is in the
house with the sun.
Seventh
maybe
lord and
combust.
the 8th, that's a very clear cut combination.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
anything else more?
Sun. Hmm.
So in Navamsha, the Lagna Lord goes to the 8th.
Okay.
And Mercury is also afflicted by Mars and Ketu.
There's also
Yeah.
sun
Yes.
there.
Yeah, this is afflicted, but something very different from the other horoscopes.
Okay.
I'll give the reason why in the main class. But it's totally different from compare. It's not an unmarried horoscope. It's neither it is a divorce or a widow horoscope. It's totally different.
So 7th house is also in Pap Kartari.
Yes. So, yeah, it is okay. Very clear. There's an affliction, but what does it relate to marriage? How do you describe this marriage? So, okay, I'll give you a hint. Who's the 7th lord?
Mercury, is he gay or something?
Yes, he married to another guy.
Mm.
Okay, whenever you see Gemini as the 7th house, you'll have to understand. But again, Mercury is exactly not gay. Mercury can be what you call heterosex. When you can have, I've seen many people that way also. Saturn and Ketu are actually can be the same, but Mercury I've always, you know, the symbol of Mithuna is what's the meaning? It's a girl and a boy, but here is a gay. It's a gay relationship. Okay, this also
I
means
heard, sir, retrograde planets can do that, but
But is the, so if I may ask, is the relationship, the gay relationship good, or that's also difficult?
if you want if you want to see astrologically, is it good or bad?
No, no,
Uh,
not astrologically, for this person, particular
Yeah,
case.
yeah. See, when you have Saturn, Ketu, Mercury relating with the seventh house, you'll have a same gender relationship. You have all three connection to the. You have Saturn on the seventh, Ketu is close to the seventh, Mercury is the seventh lord. You have all three of them connected to the seventh, and the seventh lord is already Mercury, and Lagna lord and the seventh lord is Shashtashtaka. So when you have dominant, all these three planets, actually Mercury is not exactly gay. Mercury can be both.
I meant to say,
I've seen a lot of
so in that
Mithuna Lagna people confessing me what is they are heterosexual. I don't know if I'm using the term correctly.
in that relationship, is a good relationship, like a satisfactory, that was my question.
See, I don't think so. Most of the gay relationship is
No,
very
no, not
short-lived.
most, this particular relationship. One thing is there's a deviation, let's not call it an affliction, that it's a gay relationship.
Yeah, yeah, it's a gay
In
relationship.
that
Yes.
relationship, is it a satisfactory relationship? That's what
I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know, but I know he was actually almost married to this person. Like married, they're living together.
okay, sir, no.
Very creative Bharatanatyam dancer. So I just wanted to show, see, there are other aspects of just not the seventh house. When what is the meaning of having a relationship with the same gender, also somewhere connected to the seventh house and the 12th house. You can see what is say if you want to see from the seventh lord, you have Rahu in the 5th house, and Rahu, you know, 12th house Rahu. What does it mean? Rahu in Scorpio and being in the 12th house. So when something out of the ordinary, when something goes to, is not normal.
No, there's this
Uh,
term you told once.
uh,
Rahu, no, that's in Rahu in Sagittarius, I think.
So no, that's Kodanda Rahu. This is actually Rahu in the 12th house can mean what is a connection which is not ordinary. Rahu in the 12th aspected by Mars. Okay, you can see the other afflict. Shukra goes to the 8th. Again, you can see Saturn in the 7th. Mercury. The Navamsa is very clear. You can see the. So you definitely know there's something wrong. There's a problem. A problematic relationship is very, very clear. But you should know when it is a divorce, when it is a widow, when it is a separation, when it is a bad married life, when it is a multiple marriage, when it is an extramarital relationship, when there is a marriage is not broken, but there is no married life, or the married life is not broken, but it's a hell of a married life. The husband abuses, beats, all kind, all kind. So different shapes. We'll be discussing about 75 horoscopes in 2 classes, 3 hours minimum. It might take more than 3 hours in 2 classes to understand all these various aspects. Each particular example, I will take at least 5 charts to see.
So will you also see, so will you also use Tithi for this?
Yeah, we'll in the class we'll be using. I'll tell you how we'll be using AL, A7, UL, and Tithi also. So whatever in case what is sometimes you see Tithi is your emotional connection. It's ruled by the moon. So it's very, very important to know the emotional quotient of the person to understand what Tithi is. So you can also have the dimension. Those the 7th and the 12th is most of 70% 7th house is enough. Where is Venus? Where is 7th lord? Where is Mars? Is most cases enough. Jupiter is very necessary to balance the horoscope. Is very necessary. You can take the UL. You can take the A7. Sometimes you want to see it in a different way. The AL can there's a different perspective. You can say Navamsa is very, very important. Okay, what house is to be taken for second marriage, third marriage? Everybody has a lot of doubts. Okay, one first marriage broke, what is the problem? Then different combinations. How important is second house in marriage? How important is 7th house is marriage? There's another combination. I think it is Paladipika, 7th lord in the 5th house and bad married life. I've seen in many horoscopes. I've already shown you, I think, one horoscope. 7th lord on the 5th, it's exalted and bad married life. It's not 7th lord in 6, 8, 12 or Badakasthana or Nietzsche with malefics.
So you also told us 7th lord in 5th house could be no marriage also.
Yes, 7th lord of the 5th can many horoscopes I've seen. 7th lord in the 5th house, very bad marriage. So that's another
The
much
chart
very
which you
less.
showed us.
Yeah, you can see this particular chart now. You can see that it is seventh
That
lord in the
moon,
fifth
moon,
house.
Venus also in fifth. You
Yeah.
had shown us. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one.
So it's very, very important. There are other, we'll be discussing very less discussed topics like this Venus, Moon, Jupiter combination, 12,000 married life. We'll be discussing all these points which are not usually discussed. It's not the usual 7th, 8th, 12th, and Shukra and Mars afflicted and bad married life. We'll go to different charts. Sannyasi's horoscope, how does it different? Unmarried people who want to get married and not married. People who have many, many relationship, a lot of living together but never got married. You can see, or the first marriage very, very shortly and that person married. So you have different variations. Why people get married and go abroad, why people get married to a foreigner, why people get married to a different caste or different religion people. All this can be seen. So it's this, in fact, I think the most easiest to understand will be marriage. A profession can be very complicated. Even if I tell you the rules, you will have to break your head to understand. Because even the Navamsa is not necessary. Navamsa is just a subtler picture. So it becomes more clearer for you. Okay, it is also told the Navamsa. The T1 chart will be so clear as far as married life is concerned. Very, very rare chart, you will have to see the Navamsa. Second marriage, we cannot analyze without Navamsa. Second marriage, only if the Navamsa is good, it will balance. But first marriage, you can be very sure an affliction, the D1 chart will be very, very clear. I have not touched anything about the decay. The decay is another very, very important aspect. I'll tell you how important, and decay is important for marriage. The missing side of you, what are the lacking side of you is your decay. So what the decay is the planet to the lowest degrees. So why is it represented by a spouse or a partner? Why? Because what you lack will be filled up. So that will gravitate into you, or you will attract that aspect into your life as your spouse. And the spouse will have that quality and nature incomplete. So it comes and balances you. Whatever you are lacking somewhere, it will be filled up in your life by different sources. The aspect of the seventh from a bhava is has the meaning. The seventh from Lagna has the same meaning, how it balances a particular bhava or how it balances Lagna. Same way, a planet in the lowest degree will come to you as your spouse. That's the meaning of Dharakaraka. So it is very important. Yes, how's the strength of the Dharakaraka? The question is, what I say, should Dharakaraka be strong, or it is good for Dharakaraka to be weak? Dharakaraka by itself is weak because it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees mostly. What happens if the Dharakaraka is exalted? What is the meaning? Is it good to have a good, strong Dharakaraka, or it is best if it is weak?
Sir, it will become a strong marga.
Yeah, it can be a strong marga, but as
It
far as
shouldn't
married
also
life is,
be, sir, it shouldn't be weak also.
no, it can be either. I'm not saying only he. Is Dharakaraka being weak is good, or if Dharakaraka is strong is good? Let's an exalted Dharakaraka or a Nicha Dharakaraka. And one more important.
Shouldn't be a, I think shouldn't be weak and nicha.
Okay.
Because that's a self we have to develop, or the
There
What
shouldn't be
happens?
strong.
What happens if the Dharakaraka is retrograde? I have some lot of horoscopes. I've been asked in the VV, what happens if the Dharakaraka, I've seen some strange things when the Dharakaraka is retrograde. Forget about other planets retrograde. You want to know what is the effect of the retrograde. You want to see the most important planet. Find if Dharakaraka is retrograde and see what happens in married life. Forget about any other planet. Just see the Dharakaraka and find out what it can be mean for married life.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll
Sir,
be looking into I have a lot of horoscopes regarding. Yes, Rima.
I always say that, seventh lord and eighth afflicted is a problem. But then I think in this course we learn whether the marriage will break or the husband will die. And
Seventh lord and the
normally
eighth.
it's
See,
very,
seventh lord and
yeah,
the eighth alone is not a problem. I will
no,
tell you.
afflicted.
Only afflicted. Even seventh lord in the 12th, I've seen people going abroad and settling in married life, or going very, very far, 1,000 kilometers, or crossing the seas. I've seen many people having seventh lord in the 8th or seventh lord in the 12th. So what I
what
say,
is, just deviating a bit, what is more problematic, seventh lord in the 8th or seventh lord in the 6th?
Seventh lord in the 6th is a problematic because it is 12th from the 7th house. Seventh lord in the 8th is second to the 7th house. So it is not a problem. It's only 8th from the Lagna. It is not 8th from the 7th house. I've seen sickly marriages. See, sixth actual house for breaking marriage is 6th house. Why? Because it is the 12th annihilation of the 7th house. So a divorce or bad marriage life, you can always see the 6th lord connecting with Shukra or the 7th can be a very so 7th lord and the 6th can be very, very bad. 7th lord and the 8th can mean many relationship, depending on the planet. If it is Shukra, Venus, you can always see if it is a deep relationship, or if it is Saturn and with Sun and Mars, it could be the opposite, very little relationship. It can be excess or it missing aspect of the 7th lord in the 8th house. Also marrying your relation, close relation, and their problem regarding that, or you are lacking the physical connection is also 7th lord in the 8th house. Or there's a lot of health issues and the married life is not able to go, is a very common scene if the 7th lord is in the 6th or 7th lord is in the 8th or Shukra is in the 6th or Shukra in the 7th. This is a very common factor you can see in married life.
But if you run the dasha, then it does manifest like.
Some Dasha will bring it 100%, but not necessarily the Dasha has to come. If the combination is very strong, maybe a very good Dasha will minimize it, but somewhere it will manifest. If it is a weak Dasha, maybe if the Dasha is excellent, your 5th and 9th are strong Dasha, you will be saved. So you need to run a very strong Dasha to be saved from a weakness. A weak Dasha, not connected to the 7th house, can bring about the weakness in the horoscope. Not necessarily the afflicted planets must speak out. Even a Sadesati can bring about the weakness in the horoscope. Sadesati or Ashtamasani or Ardhashtama can bring about any weakness in the horoscope, will be immediately shown during this period. Or a weak planet Dasa, Saturn Dasa, Ketu Dasa, or a 6th Dasa, all that can bring about the weakness in the horoscope. Okay. We'll just introduction. I think I've told you a lot for people. We will go. We have 75 horoscopes. All this we'll see in detail about Tidi, about Dharkarga importance, Dhara Lagna, more about 12th house connection to marriage, and how much is Sun and Mars, how bad is Sun and Mars, Moon and Venus, Jupiter, Moon. We'll all see these things, and many more we will see. And sometimes if the affliction is there, and if it is also there in the person's horoscope, how it does not have. I know a horoscope Saturn Rahu in the 7th house and 25 years a very good married life, or Mars Saturn. Many horoscope marriage broke, and there are many horoscopes I know with Mars and Saturn Rahu in the 7th and 8th marriage is they're very happy together. So it depends. Without looking at the other person's horoscope, you cannot jump to a conclusion. How synastry can play a very strong role in relationship.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, why is 7th lord considered bad in the 5th house? I think it's a good house.
It is generally a good house. There's one particular, I think Saravali says that 7th lord and the 5th house bad for married life. I've seen B.V. Raman also saying it. Yes, I've seen it in many horoscopes, and I've practically also seen. I do not know the logic because the 5th house is 11th from the 7th house. So I do not know, but B.V. Raman himself goes on to say, I do not know the logic, but it is strange 7th lord and the 5th is bad for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think it is Saravali. I even quoted it, and we had a discussion in VV about it. Many people said no, yes, no, yes. But I have seen it very commonly in many, when it's very, very, you have to note. In fact, I have 5 horoscopes in my example chart, and 7th lord and the 5th, with no major affliction, and the married life. It is like a Ketu in the 7th house. It's also a point, doesn't mean it will break. But it is like a point, like we have Ketu in the 7th or 7th lord Nietzsche or Shukra Nietzsche. It is like that valid. So one more affliction is enough to disturb when somebody, I mean, it's very common to see them unmarried, not bad marriage, unmarried. You will not get married. Somewhere the, what I say, the dharma of getting married is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got a lot more interesting. I have charts. Some horoscopes I've got the husband and wife. Some horoscopes I have the husband, I have the lover who never got married, and then we have the wife who got married, or the extramarital relationships. I've got all 3 horoscopes. We'll discuss it. How I know one particular couple, a guy loved a particular girl, could not get married. He got married to someone else, but he divorced that and went back to marry the girl he loved. I have an example. We'll see what was the planetary copy. We did not bring him first. He has to get married and come back to the girl again. A lot, you will have very, very interesting cases. We'll see. Why divorce happens? What is the reason for divorce? Why sometimes it's widow? Why divorce is okay, you can marry it again. Here, but when it comes to being widowed, the affliction is different. Or some marriages, husband runs away. Or there are some marriage is separated. There's no divorce, but there is what I say, husband leaves and goes missing. Or the husband just left away somewhere close by, but okay, the marriage is not broken. There's no divorce or widow, nothing happens, but there's no emptiness in married life. Different cases. Very interesting. You can be, and you can understand it, and you can what I say, very, very easy. I think the first thing when I learned astrology was learn married life easily. Then it'll be kids. Kids will also be equally very easy. The tougher part will be medical astrology and professional astrology. Education, these three things, and education will be the toughest. But marriage astrology, but so many varieties are there. You can see. We will see it. 6 hours. It will be more than 6 hours, I think. I think I've already readied up 100 slides. So 50 slides for each class. We'll see. We'll have a very interesting section of more than 75 with different varieties, cocktails of horoscopes. We'll see. This for marriage, I think I've not used any what is I though I have a lot of celebrity horoscope. I've only taken my personal collection. Okay. Any other doubts you can ask me?
No, sir.
Yeah. So we'll meet you in class. We have a very interesting marital session.
Yes, sir. Looking forward.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Shikha ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers, please join this course. We'll be having a great session on 21st and 22nd. And after that, we are having matchmaking, which sir has already taken once. We'll be doing it second time because many people requested it.
It'll be
So
very,
we
very
hope-
helpful, because once you have done this, then to what I say, do this, it'll be very, very important. Yeah, because married life is very important to matching. Though I'll be just touching about it in this class, but it'll be very deep, a complete 6 hours about marriage matching will be in the next class.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.